So Scott, what's going on with you this week, brother?
Not much, man. Just got back from my daughter's wedding. Playing catch up. It feels weird because when we got home on Monday, it felt like a Sunday. So my week's off like by a day. So I was in Spokane, and we had an amazing time there. And now we're back to normal life and plugging away. And the new brand is rocking and rolling. We've got some cool things happening in the private label classroom. Some changes for the positive are happening there. I'm excited, man. There's a ton going on, and it's great to be alive.
That's a good place to start. I mean, you woke up this morning, and that's 90% of the game, right?
You know, when you can wake up every morning, that's a good thing.
You got to start somewhere. That's the place to start. Dom, brother, what's going on this week with you, dude?
Well, I was going to repeat that. When I was 350, 60 pounds there, waking up in the morning was one of my biggest accomplishments, because I tell you, some days I didn't think I was going to wake up. But anyways, nonetheless, I don't have to worry about that. If you guys are wondering, I'm sitting in my one of my company cars here because I had to do some stuff today, and I told the boys late. They were like, okay, well, let's turn off all the AC. So it's hot as heck in here. I feel like I'm back in Arizona hanging out with the Shark and Bill Stratwell and the rest of the crew, right? But, yeah, everything's all good, man. I'm all pumped up. The 1K Fast Track is just hitting hard, guys. I know, Scott, you were busy all weekend with the wedding, and I want to wish you happy birthday. I kind of did a little bit late there, and congratulations on that. I totally feel where you're going from. I read your email today, and I was almost – going to start myself to tear up, because I'm going to get there eventually, but I understand where you're kind of going through. It's a big change in your life. You know, when you have somebody live with you for 21 years, and then all of a sudden they're like gone, and they're not like they're moving next door either. They're moving across the country. Yeah. So, I mean, it's going to be good. They could just drop off their stuff at Amazon, because it'll be perfect for them.
just right at Amazon headquarters.
Yeah. So yeah, it's been a crazy week on there. I can't believe some of the numbers people are pulling. So I'm really hyped up over that. We'll go through that a little bit after. But yeah, it's been a good weekend, and everything's been going good. Yeah, no, and again, like, I mean, people that are just tuning in, I wrote my email this morning, and really the whole gist of it really is like a new chapter. And it's a new chapter. I mean, every phase that we go through in life, it's like, you can either look at it like, oh man, I'm really sad that that's over with. Like, my daughter went from being a little girl to now she's an adult and she's married. And it's like, I could be sitting here sad all day long about that. But, I got to also look at, well, it's another chapter in her life and in our life, and hopefully grandkids eventually and all that fun stuff. But I was, a wreck kind of when I was going through that. I didn't think I was going to be either. It's funny. I was walking down, I'm like, oh no, I'm going to be strong. This is going to be easy. And then all of a sudden you start going down, and it's like, holy crap, like this is real. And then, and it was a tearjerker for sure. And a gut wrenching experience, but I was also happy. So it's a hard thing to balance, but also made me say in the email, because I'm like, all right, how do I tie this back to like a business lesson? Because, you guys don't want to hear about me, about my daughter getting married and all that stuff. I mean, it's life. But, a lot of that has to do with like business, like Amazon business in general. It's like, there's going to be pivots, there's going to be changes. And we have to look at that like it's another chapter in the book of business, right? It's like we have to look at it like, yeah, we can sit here and say, oh, this is so hard, or Amazon is constantly coming down on us, and this, that, and the other thing. And actually, it was funny. I did a post today on our big TAS group, and the question was kind of like, what do you wish that you'd have known when you first started that you didn't know, or whatever? And someone had said, I wish that I knew that Amazon was going to be basically coming down on sellers so much or so hard. And I'm like, okay, I get your frustration, but understand that if you opened up a franchise, you'd have this same kind of things. It would just be from the franchisee or franchisor or whatever, right? It's like there's going to be conflicts. There's going to be changes. There's sales tax. You might be in business and go, oh, crap, I got to do sales tax. I didn't want to do sales tax, and they're coming down on me about sales tax. Or maybe your town, you have two competitors come in that you weren't planning on. They came in. What do you do now? Like, there's always going to be stuff.
right? It's just we happen to be in the Amazon and the e-commerce world, and it just happens to be these things. And I talked about it on the email or in the email about like we made changes and adapted to Amazon saying you can't do any really big giveaways anymore. Like you can't do that. So our way to combat that is really to create an email list and start doing that, and that's worked phenomenally. So anyway, today is a day to talk about new chapters, Chris. And also some exciting news that Amazon actually did do something cool for us. And maybe you should start there, Chris. Maybe you should start with some cool stuff that Amazon just rolled out.
Should I start with the cool thing or the unsexy thing? That's the...
I don't know. Why don't we ask people in the comments, sexy or non-sexy? What do you want? If you want sexy, look at Chris Shaper.
I don't know about that. We'll have to change the lighting in here to get that. But let's start with the unsexy thing. I'm typically an optimist, so I'm going to start with the bad news first because I like to hear that, and then I like to see what the spin is. If you guys aren't aware, 11 days from now is when Amazon is going to be assessing long-term storage fees for this 6-month period. So anything that's been in the warehouse longer than 6 months is going to be hit with long-term storage fees. Make sure you check your inventory reports, your inventory dashboard inside Seller Central to see if you are, how much you're going to have to pay in terms of those long-term storage fees. You still have some time to do some things like removal orders or flash sales, or heck, maybe even a lightning deal before then, depending on when you may or may not have one scheduled out, and you can start to kind of push things out that way. And that way you don't get a surprise. And I know last year we had a lot of people who, because we started Power Hour, I saw actually in my Facebook, the first like dry run that the three of us did was last year, this week.
Oh, nice. It's a year already.
It showed up in my Facebook memories. Wow. And I know like the second or third week that we did Power Hour, people were like, well, I just got a $300 charge. I got a $400. What the heck is that? It's long-term storage fees, guys. I know, Dom, you had a little bit of a nasty surprise.
Yeah.
So just check those inventory reports. Your inventory age report would be the one that I would suggest taking a look at and start from there. Then you can start to kind of formulate a game plan around if you need to do anything and then what you need to actually do. So now that that's out of the way, the big news as of, was it yesterday, Scott, or was it 2 days ago? It's hard to remember.
I think it was 2 days ago.
Everything is kind of coming together in one big blob. But if you were brand registered previously, I know it's in all of those accounts. And I don't know if it's in every account right now, but Amazon is rolling out a second ad type to people inside of Seller Central. Before, all you could do in Seller Central was just the text-based ads. There were some banner placements, but you could only get access to those inside of Vendor Central or Vendor Express. They work pretty well. You're not going to get the same volume out of them that you get out of the traditional text ads that you hear us running in PPC, which is what we're normally talking about. But they tend to get a lower ACOS. So you spend less to get a couple extra sales. It just isn't the thing that's going to kind of carry your product. What Amazon did this week is they rolled access to those headline search ads, the one you see across the top of the searches where there's 3 different products and then a brand name, something like that, to Seller Central, people who were brand registered previously. If you guys were never brand registered and you see it, let us know in the chat. But all the accounts that I've looked in that have it were brand registered under Brand Registry 1.0. So I'm curious to see if anybody else has seen that. But it's a really, really cool opportunity for some people to take advantage of what tends to be a lower cost ad type. So, lower cost, but lower volume as well.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to test. Chris, I know and not all accounts have this though.
I've seen it in anything that was brand registered under Brand Registry 1.0.
Okay.
So the brands, Scott, that we have, like the new brand that we're working in actually does have access to it.
Yeah.
It was brand registered under the old Brand Registry.
Right.
We actually need to clean up something, and I noticed it because of that. Not all of the products have the same exact brand name, which means they're not protected under Brand Registry.
Right.
So we're not actually able to advertise all of those products in the headline search ad because it's looking for everything that's the same brand.
So why don't you just explain quickly, though, to everyone what this actually means and what it would look like if you were to run one of these different ads versus what we're currently running.
The big thing is you need to have multiple products for it to work really well, right?
Okay.
But you traditionally have had to have, I think it was 3 products to be able to run this type of ad. So if you have multiple products, it's really, really cool. All you do, Amazon builds the banner for you. You just go into the back end, you pick the 3 products that you want to show up, you upload a nice version of your logo so that it looks right. And Amazon will actually give you a preview of what the ad looks like. And then you select kind of some keywords for it. And that's it. And then you also, with the headline search ads, you also have to point it back to a page because it's not for a specific product. So it's going to go to that brand page. And this really ties in with what they did last week or 2 weeks ago, where they're allowing people more control over that brand store page. And I think we talked about that on Power Hour, where they launched that for anybody that was in brand registry. They're giving you a better way of controlling how all those products are presented. Now they're giving you a way to drive traffic specifically to that. So those two things are very, very tied together.
Cool. Now let me ask you this: is it only the headline? Is it a headline banner, or is there also a side banner or a bottom page banner?
From what I've seen so far, it's just the headline search ads placement, which is that banner across the top of the search. Now, there is a second banner type that you can use if you're in Vendor Express, and that's the one that shows up like underneath the buy box. If you guys have ever seen a banner ad underneath the buy box, that's that search type. But right now, it's just the headline search ad. It's not the product display ads currently on the Seller Central side.
And is this also driven by just keywords then?
The headline search ads are driven by keywords, not by ASINs, right? Because they show up on the search terms page on that SERP, right? So if somebody types in garlic press, that's where you'll see that ad type. The other type is the one where you select it via the ASIN.
So technically, though, we could probably we could be seen twice. Then we can see once in the headline ad and then once in a sidebar if we are bidding,
and once organically.
Okay, wow, that's pretty cool.
Right,
yeah, that's pretty cool.
Which is it's really nice, and that kind of falls in line with what we've talked about in the past. My philosophy is I want to be in as many places as possible. Even if I have to pay a little bit to get that sale, I'm okay with that happening because I want to take up as much space on the page as I possibly can. Daniel Tejada just chimed in the comments. He said, exactly, it's just the headline search ads and the sponsored products, which is what we've traditionally been running for Seller Central. Vendors still have exclusive access to the product display ads.
Oops, you there, Chris?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I thought I lost you.
No, I just stopped talking.
Oh, okay. All right, cool. All right, so that was kind of, okay, you went with the inventory and then you went to the sexy stuff. So the sexy stuff is the banner ads that we could potentially run now.
It's a new traffic source for Amazon sellers in Amazon, and that's something that's really cool. And we've done a lot of testing in the back end. Those headline search ads, like I said, tend to have a lower ACOS, but they also tend to have a much lower volume in terms of the number of people who click on them. So if you have them in your account, they're worth a try to pick up a couple of extra sales at a fairly low cost.
Cool. Yeah, so guys, if you have any quick questions on that, drop them in the comments, and we'll try to address them as far as what we can give you is what we understand as far as like what we know right now. Again, not that much data yet because they haven't been out long, right? But the one thing is, Chris, and I think you're going to confirm this for me, is you need to be brand registered, at least in the 1.0. If you're 2.0, then obviously, but you need to be a 1.0 in order to have access to that. And you'll find that by going into your seller's account and then going under advertising, and then once you go into your campaign manager, from there, you're going to see a thing up there where it says new and it says headline search ads or right alongside sponsored product ads.
Yep, and you go to advertising campaign manager, and then above where it says all campaigns, there's two links now. One says sponsored products, one says headline search. If you have that headline search placement, you can click on that and start to build those out. And I've only seen it in people who were brand registered. And the reason for that is those are the people who are getting the branded pages and those kinds of things. And you have to have a place to drive that traffic. Amazon doesn't let you drive it to a specific listing, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, there's basically 4 steps I'm looking at here. I'm actually going through just kind of to see what it would look like. But it's like list page, then creative, then keywords, then finish. So basically there's 4 steps in setting one of those up, which looks pretty darn easy.
And somebody was asking, Brett was asking, I believe, is it template based or do we have to create all of the images by ourselves? It is template based. So what Amazon will do is they take the products directly from the product page. Like if you pick your garlic press, your garlic bag, and your garlic peeler, they'll take the first image from each of those, drop them into the banner, you upload your logo, they drop that into the banner, and then you type up a quick piece of text, and that's it.
Cool. Yeah, man, you're sweating a bullet in there, aren't you? Woo!
Oh, it's crazy in here.
Why don't you turn the AC on, man?
My wife's gonna love that. Oh, it's just crazy hot in here.
Well, why aren't you turning on the AC? You don't want to start the car? Come on.
I don't know if you can hear the car though. You hear it being. Oh, that's nice.
Did you turn it on?
Yeah, I turned it on. I didn't want to start.
I can't hear it. We can't hear it.
No, you can't hear. Oh, that's better. Woo.
No, get that air on you, man. Get that air on you. We don't want you to. We don't. Well, actually, you know what? You'll burn a lot more calories. Why don't you shut it off? Dom Sugar had just burned 800 calories through the power hour.
Man, the Italian sauna. I've heard the Dutch oven and the Italian sauna now.
That's right. All right, guys, do me a favor quickly. Share this, like it. Let us know if you have any questions, comments. Give us some Facebook love. We're going to keep coming back as long as you guys keep letting us know that you guys are there and that you guys are supporting the TAS Power Hour. So definitely do that. I know Dom was talking a little bit in the beginning about 1K Fast Track. And if you guys don't know what that is, it's a class that we actually created for people that were kind of stuck and on the fence and didn't really know how to get into selling on Amazon. And for us, it's a way for you to get started pretty quickly. And then also, you don't even have to really source product. You're going to go out there and you are going to find product that's already on the shelf. And we've already done that with I think it was, 3 or 4 groups. And and every single group, they come out of the gates like just flying. So, I mean, like you said, Dom, I mean, already this week alone, you've had numerous people in there showing screenshots of what they're doing and bringing in some cash already, which is pretty awesome.
Yeah, it's been crazy.
Yeah.
It's been hectic. I mean, guys are still crushing it. Like Mike Curry's up there now. He's still getting truckloads of stuff from Walmart. I mean, he was one of our first groups, and he's doing phenomenal. But a lot of people, like Ramil just posted he made $117 his first sale. Wow. He's like, man, I got it out of the way. It feels so good. That's a pretty good first sale for $117. So
yeah, no, that's awesome.
I'm proud of those guys.
Yeah. So guys, 1K Fast Track. If you guys are, whatever, if you're stuck, or if you even wanted to add another revenue stream, we created this class for that purpose. And I can't tell you how many people, Dom, have emailed me and said, I've been a listener for 12 months now, and I still haven't done anything because I just don't know what I want to pick as a product. And this here allowed me to get started, and now I have more confidence going into this thing, and I was able to earn a little bit of cash to kind of use for the base of the first PL product. So if you guys want to know more information about that, little shameless plug here, 1kfasttrack.com. Go check it out. The details will be on that page. There's no open and close. You guys can join at any time, and it starts basically with week 1, and then it takes you through the 5 weeks of the training. So definitely go check that out.
Yeah, it's a good. I was going to say, I mean, most people that we've worked with through the 1K is
I lost Dom.
Me too.
They look at it.
There you go. No,
not good. Okay.
There you go. You're back. You're back.
Okay. I was gonna say it's like an entry level career type job. If you want to become a movie producer or a recording artist, or lay music tracks down, you're not just gonna start at the top. You're gonna take an internship and you're gonna start at the bottom and work your way up. It's kind of like an entry level to get your feet wet so people can understand the process. I think that's the most important thing that we learn about this is the process, how to get into Amazon, because I get so many people so frustrated. They just can't even get by the UPC code thing versus FNSQ. I've talked about that a million times. And this is a great process. And when you're ready for private label, which is oh my God, I can't even say that word. Inevitable? Inevitable, that's it. It's going to happen. So
inevitable.
We're going to make you say that just to torture you.
I'm going to get
wow. That's brutal.
No, we lost you again. It must be that word. That word must have just There it is. There it is. You're back.
All right. That's good. So I was saying it's a good entry level, and we basically it's a lot of people are really happy because they're starting, right? They feel goal oriented already. They put a bunch of stuff on that they can sell. Again, there's going to be their odds and ends. People that are getting a little frustrated, but we'll help them through that.
Of course.
we're not going to leave them behind. That's why there's, like I said, the first and second group that were in there are really integral part of the open concept now. The evergreen room, I call it, because they can help each other, and even if we're not there within 2 seconds to answer the questions, they're already answered before I can get in there, and that's kind of cool. Where the progressive, these guys already know the answers, which is pretty amazing, because 3-4 months ago they started like the same thing. I don't know, but now they know title. Can I list if it's a little bit different? The product, no, don't do that. Maybe list your own product. What if Amazon is the seller? Should I compete against them? Stuff like this, and so it's pretty cool. I mean, I love it. There's already a lot of people that are $500, $600, $700 already, like I said, and we'll definitely get more into it as we're progressing, because I think we're only about 2 weeks in, right? So everyone will be through the pre-challenge now, and then.
But if someone's, just so people understand, we've set it up now that if you join today, you start at the beginning and you work through that process. And then you're also able to communicate with people that have already been through the process, or the process, as I say it here in the States.
Nice.
But it's the process. I know Kevin O'Leary from Shark Tank says process too, but I think he's Canadian too, right? He's
Canadian too, yeah. Yeah, like Chris was saying, I mean, we had a handful of people join up yesterday, so they're already,
dropped his connection again. Yep. It's something with the audio. Gone.
I think it's his headset.
Maybe.
There you go. You're back. You're back.
Anytime he responds to us, he's fine. But when he's talking, it cuts out.
No, I don't think that makes it any better, does it?
No, yeah.
Like I'm in a wash.
In a washroom?
No.
You're echoey, but we can hear you now.
That's true.
It's funny. All right, I gotta give people a little thing on that, just to kind of go off the side here a little bit. But when we were in Mexico together, he kept going. He kept saying, like, if you had to go to the bathroom, he's like, I'm gonna go to the washroom, and I'm like, washroom? Why do you call it a washroom? He's like, that's what we call it in Canada, and I'm like, come on. Like, it's a bathroom, or it's the John, or whatever, right? So he goes home, a restroom. He goes home and he goes into Walmart and he takes a picture of it and it says washroom right there. So in Canada, it's washroom. In the States, it's restroom. Oh, man, it's funny. All right. So anyway, I think we can hear you now. Nope. You're gone.
No. Yeah, so it's got nothing to do with...
Now you're kind of back.
It's just the internet, man. I'm sorry. I apologize, guys.
That's all right.
But
that's
yeah,
all right.
Again, yeah, but it's the same thing. People are getting, they're moving. That's what we want people, right? Like I said, take action. We don't want them to just sit. If you've been sitting around for 12 months, it's a good way to start for sure. And I don't know, it's just, a lot of people are doing well with it. I'm really excited for them and for them most.
Yeah. All right, we dropped him again. All right, so we got the part that you said you were excited for them, and that's the most important part. But yeah, Chris. So okay, let's go ahead. Let's answer some questions. Do we have any questions coming in at all? And if you guys have not, if you guys came on late or whatever, if you have any questions, it doesn't matter whatever it is, we'll answer them while we're here live on the broadcast. I mean, we could go in 100 different directions. We've got a whole bunch of different things going on. There was something that I did want to mention here, Chris, because it's something that I'm dealing with right now, you're dealing with, we're all dealing with, and that is it's August. And we are starting to really plan for fourth quarter. I literally had I had 3 conversations that I didn't even talk to you about yet because we haven't had a chance to talk, but with our partner, and we're putting in additional orders. And now we're asking ourselves, is this our fourth quarter order, or do we order once and then try to immediately order again? Because, we don't want to get stuck without having any inventory, but then in the same breath, we don't want to have too much inventory and get stuck with it. So it's like that's a tough balancing act. I think with the products that we're selling right now, I don't think we'll ever get stuck with them because I think that they'll eventually sell, but we don't want to go ahead and take all of our liquid cash and just tie it all up into product either. Although, Chris, maybe you can pull that report up right now. What have we lost since being out of stock on the one item so far? Just to make me, upset here this afternoon, you can maybe let me know. I think it was last week. It was like $7,000. Yeah, it's going to be a lot more than that now. And I'll also say this. we just hit 35K in revenue for a 30-day cycle. So that's pretty damn exciting. I just checked that today. It's been around 33 to 34, and it just today bumped over 35. So very excited about that. But we're also losing because we are out of stock of one of the top sellers right now. We've been out of stock for about what, Chris? 4 days?
Just over a week.
Yeah, a week now.
Well, let's see. And we had, like, you know, there were a couple that were still in reserve or were in people's carts that we've sold, and we've sold, you know, 1 or 2 a day. Let's see here.
Yeah, I was going to ask you about that. That was kind of strange. I thought we were out of stock, and then I seen one come through, and then another one come through, and I'm like, how's that happening? But I guess it was in reserve in their cart, and then they finalized it.
Let me do some math here quick.
Yeah, sure. Do some math. But yeah, I mean, and I know, Dom, you've done that before, right? I mean, even in the open brand, there's been a couple of products you run out of stock, and you're like, oh my gosh, like what do we do now? And then you run out. Like last Christmas too, fourth quarter. That one product that you launched, actually you launched it just before fourth quarter, blew out of 3,000 units, and then you're like, okay, now I'm going to go ahead and order 6,000 units, right? It's like, and then now you have them, but you haven't sold as steadily as you have when you were in fourth quarter.
I actually on Tuesday I got to send $20,000 for that to reorder that. So we have three to 4,000 of each in stock because I'm not going to run out this time. I mean, it's way too much revenue that we lost. So it's not even a risk really, whatever. I can always lower them, but I might not sell out on them, but that's a product I don't want to sell out at that time. And then, I mean, I'm more concerned about the other product that sells out pretty well every week. That I don't know, you know, by the time I get it sourced and all that stuff. So, you know, that's going to be an issue. Yeah, we're gearing up right now. I think we might have, I think I'd rather buy a heavy.
We lost him again. We lost your audio.
I think what he's saying.
He was ready to say something really good too.
Dom, not yes or no, but I think what you're saying is you'd rather buy heavy now and have it than have to place a second order.
Yeah.
Correct.
Yep.
That's what we're going to do. So now we're not going to do that for all ours. We're going to do it for our heavy fourth quarter SKUs. So, you know, if it's seasonal type stuff, obviously we're not going to order heavy on that stuff, but we're going to try and replenish stuff. I mean, I'm running into a big issue because my main sourcing agent, who basically runs our export company over there, she's just had a child, so she's basically out of commission for a few months. So, but she's trying to figure it out. She's getting her one of her sister-in-laws to help us out. So that's put a kink in it. So that's taken a few, and then there's always something, right? It doesn't matter what you do. That's part of business. But
it's part of business. It's part of business. I want to highlight that because we were talking about that in the beginning, right? It's like it's like you have this problem, or if you're in a corporate job, you've got those problems. You got corporate problems, right? It's like it's just you have to take the good with the bad, and you know what I mean. It's like we're running into that big time. And Chris, I mean, I had another conversation this morning with our partner, and it's like, do we order 1,000 right now, or do we order 2,000? I think that it could probably. I mean, right now that one SKU is doing probably about 8 to 12 a day, but part of me is like, is it a seasonal? Because it kind of could be
one of the newer SKUs.
Yeah. And then I'm like, but I'd rather have 1,500 of them and then know that I have them versus not having them. And it's not a huge amount of cash. But the one, we know for sure we've got 3,000 of those. Actually, we've got 1,500 coming on the 13th, and then we got another 3,000 ordered. But it's a balancing act, right? It's like how much do you buy right now planning for fourth quarter? That's the big question. Like, how do you really know? You really don't, especially if you haven't been through a fourth quarter with that product.
Well,
so Dom, hold on a minute. So Dom, what would your recommendation be for? He's froze right now. Is he froze or is he there?
He's just stoic.
Dom, that's a good pose right there. Look at that pose. Let's take a snapshot of that. All right, so Dom can't answer my question. Dom, do you have audio? No.
Apparently not.
He looks really confused. All right, Chris, maybe then we'll pitch it over to you. What do you do if you don't have a product that's been through a fourth quarter, but yet your sales have been pretty good up to this point?
You take a wild guess.
Yeah.
No.
I mean, kinda.
There's a couple things that you can do, and we're going through this right now. you can take a look at Google Trends. That would be a place that I would start, because you're not going to necessarily know sales volume changes for your specific category. But if your product is something that you see kind of a spike in Google Trends in the fourth quarter, if that's going up, then you can kind of extrapolate, okay, well, that went from 30 to 60. That means it's going to be 2x at least, right? I typically tend to see 40 to 50% more sales just kind of across the board. So if nothing else, and I don't know what your experience is with this, Scott, but if nothing else, order 50% more than what you think you need to kind of cover that gap. And then at the very least, you can kind of hang on to some of it, right? To avoid some of those long-term storage fees if you want to. But the problem that we're running into is that product, by the way, that product has been officially out of stock for 11 days, according to Amazon. It is $25,000 in lost sales in 11 days, right? Which would have put your 35K month at a 60K month, right? On a brand that's been around for 4 months now. So that's just a little bit of context on that. You lost half of your sales.
Damn. I didn't want to hear that.
But the thing that's interesting, is looking at our next payout, it's not that far off track. Because the other products are kind of filling in some of that. We launched 2 additional SKUs that are, they might not be selling the 20, 25 a day, but they're selling, if they sell 8 each a day, which seems to be, they're selling like 5, 6, 7, 8 a day each, that helps to backfill that. Now, when we stock that SKU back in, we're going to see that take back off again, and we're going to kind of double up on that like we were before, which is really, really nice. We've kind of filled the gap. Now we just have to take advantage of what's already there. And Tony's in the house. She said, I've been out of stock for over a week, and it's brutal. It's definitely a learning experience. And it doesn't matter how hard you try. You're never going to be able to stop yourself from going out of stock if something happens, right? And we had what we thought was going to be more than enough for the initial launch. We thought we had more than enough time.
We had 1,500 of those.
And then we had 2 days that we sold almost 200 units, right? So you sell 20% of what you bought in 2 days. That really screws up your 4 or 5 week lead time, right? So fourth quarter has the tendency to be like that. And you have at least one day in the fourth quarter that's going to be like that, whether it's Cyber Monday or Black Friday, potentially both, depending on the products that you have. So you do need to plan to have at least 50% more than what you think you're going to sell normally in that time period. And in our case, I think it's going to have to be 2 or 3x, which is kind of what we were talking about. We said, we placed an order, I think, for 2,500 on that product, right? And then we said, kind of when that lands, we're just going to reorder.
That was, actually we ordered an initial 1,500. We started going through and we ordered another 1,500 as soon as we seen that they were selling. And then now they are being dispatched, and we placed another order for 3,000.
Okay, so we have 4,500 potentially for Q4.
Yeah, and now we're starting to say, okay, and then once that 3,000 is ready for dispatch, we order another 3,000. Like that's kind of like, because right now we're in August, we should have them in, I would say, about 45 days. That's going to put us into end of September. If we did that, it's going to be really tight, but at least we would have some if we ever ran out of stock.
And so when are we getting the 1,500?
That's this week.
Okay, so they'll be here this week, which means we'll be in stock next week.
I'm sorry, it'll be next week. It'll be beginning of next week, I think, but probably won't stock in until middle of the week.
Okay, so let's call it next Thursday. So we're saying, what, the 10th?
Yeah. Oh, no, actually, I think she said, no. Our supplier said, I think, the 13th.
Let's just say, right?
Yeah.
So we'll have 1,500 units starting on the 15th. This sounds like a really bad, like 2 trains started at a station, when do they pass each other type of question. But we have 1,500 starting then. Yeah. And sell our 20 to 30 a day, which is what we were averaging, keeping in mind that there's the potential for another 180 unit day in there.
With a list and all that,
and that doesn't count the 100 and whatever people that we have on the waiting list now, which is just keep it conservative. That gives us at 30 a day. That gives us 50 days. Yeah. So that would give us through the middle of October.
Right.
Which then, if we're saying
our other 3,000 should be coming in,
another 50% above that, that 3,000 should be about right for us for Q4, assuming nothing happens,
Yep.
right? So all I did there, guys, was I took 1,500 divided it by 30, right? 30 units a day, total number of units, and then did some really bad math to say middle of October, right?
Yeah.
And so that typically is when we like to say, at least on my team, we want to have our Q4 inventory sent in anyway so that it's stocked in time, because it takes longer. That's the other thing. Amazon always says it takes 7 to 10 days to stock in inventory. It typically takes a little bit longer in Q4 than it does during the rest of the year.
Depending on how many you're shipping in. If you're doing like Dom and he's done pallets, those take longer to check in. If you're doing regular boxed, kind of stuff, you should be good. Welcome back.
Well, and that I think that's something you just glossed over there, Scott, and that I think is something important, because we've been sending in case packed units and like larger shipments. But for Q4, the way that we found in the past to get stuff stocked in faster is to do smaller shipments. So not even necessarily case pack, but take 10 units, throw them in a box, right? And get that shipped in. It costs a little bit more to send in, but Amazon sends it directly to the fulfillment center rather than to a distribution center. And it gets into inventory just a little bit faster. So if you have that issue, that's another little trick that you can send. And Ryan wants to know, how are you guys handling quality control for those 1,000 unit plus orders, Scott? That's a great question, Ryan.
Yeah, well, technically we have QC in place there, but honestly, we have to take them, and actually when we ship in an order, we'd have to pull the box apart. But honestly, we don't really do that. Once we've dealt with the supplier, once it's gone through QC out there, we may take one. If we see the boxes are damaged when we receive it, see, now we're not shipping directly in still. Okay, so that's the difference. We're still not doing that.
And we probably won't, especially with that one product, because we're doing a 3,000 unit order.
And exactly, so people want to know, like, well, what do I do? We actually rented a warehouse space. We're paying about, I think it's about $150 a month for like a 10 by 10 garage. And it's more than enough. We've got an air conditioning, temperature controlled kind of atmosphere. It's brand new facility, $150. We actually just moved, and a lot of people want to know if like I'm still physically in the business and physically like touching stuff. Yeah, yesterday, I think it was day before yesterday, I had to basically take our old warehouse, which was on the 3rd floor, and move some of our inventory downstairs into a new facility because we got a downstairs location. So yes, I do that. Yeah, I mean, so that's what we're doing. But I mean, as far as the QC goes, I think it's really important in the beginning when you're first dealing with a manufacturer. I also think if you are directly shipping them into Amazon, you definitely want another step in that QC. But if you're shipping them to yourself, you're going to be able to see the box condition, number one. And number two, you probably want to pull a box or two open randomly and do an inspection yourself. We've had a few that have been damaged, and when they're damaged, we let our supplier know about it, and then they make good on it.
We've also had a few that were damaged by Amazon shipping them in a container that either a giant box or a box that was too small.
Yep.
And so we had some of that issue as well.
Yep.
Which there's nothing you can do about that.
No.
That's on Amazon, and you have to do what you can for the customer. And we had a couple customers who left a negative review because of that, and you respond to it and take care of them from a customer service perspective. So,
yep, yeah. So again, I just want to kind of touch on fourth quarter a little bit. It's something that I said that to my wife this morning. We were having coffee, and I said, "You realize it's August? Like, fourth quarter is here. Like, we are ready. We should be preparing for fourth quarter. Everyone should be preparing for fourth quarter." And I think it's important to just understand that you don't want to plan too late.
And I think on that note, Everin has a great question. He says, my PL is a non-gift type product. Do you think Q4 will be different than my sales are now? So first of all, there are like gift products like customized mugs.
Yep.
Right? Like Merry Christmas Dad type stuff. That obviously is only going to sell at Christmas. But the thing you need to keep in mind is everything is giftable. My computer monitor, my microphone, my webcam, the bottle that I'm drinking out of. All of that stuff is potentially a gift, but there's more traffic on Amazon. So even if it's somebody buying it for themselves, it's going to rise anyway, with the exception of things like maybe suntan lotion, right, which are super seasonal and not necessarily Christmas related.
I think the only thing that I would argue with that is if you're selling hinges for a barn door, like they're probably not going to be giftable, right? And I think that might be what he's talking about. You are going to have increasing sales because you have more traffic, but it's not as much traffic as if you had something that was something you could give as a gift. A garlic press you could give as a gift. But you're not going to give a set of patio door, slider replacement, things for a sliding door.
I'm going to disagree with you on. You've never had Christmas at my parents' house, apparently.
Oh, jeez. I am going to disagree with you on that one.
But
batteries. Yeah, I might get a pack of batteries as a Christmas gift. But I'm not going to get rollers for my screen door.
That's the thing. Like I'm thinking like the barn door rollers, right? Like that might be a gift. You're not going to necessarily do it, and you're not going to give hardware necessarily. Although like one of the traditions in my parents' house is you get a tool for your toolbox every year, right? Like just something my dad found that was a really cool craftsman thing goes in your stocking or whatever, right? But you're going to see more traffic anyway because there's more people on the site. So they go while they're on Amazon, they go, man, my barn door really needs a new hinge, right? And they just go buy it and they add it to their cart. Right. But you might not see a 2 or 3x increase. Right. You're still going to see a little bit of a lift.
I think you'll definitely see a lift because number one, there's more traffic and people are in the buying mode, but you're not going to see 3x or 4x be like you would a garlic press or something that is gift worthy. So, and I think that's what everyone was saying was that he said exactly like, you sell, I don't know, some type of part replacement or something. It doesn't necessarily mean that you're going to have like a 3x on your sales. You know what I mean? So I think that's what he was saying. Any other quick questions, Chris?
Brett wants to know, does anyone have any Amazon storefronts active yet? And does Amazon display storefront links to our customers once they're active? Brett, in what context? The way that you would generally use those is with like the headline search ads, right? So you do have a unique URL that you can show to people, but Amazon doesn't actively like push that to people.
Right.
So I'm curious just for a little bit of a follow-up on that. Scott, just one or two other things. Christopher wanted to know, he said, my sales are down as expected, but ACOS is also up. Is this normal for summertime? And I would say yes. And the reason for that is people know that there's less traffic, right? And you see this on AdWords as well. Cost per click, advertising in general tends to go up in the summer because traffic is down. So people want to take as much advantage of the existing eyeballs as possible. They want to show up in as many placements as possible. So they're going to run the headline search ads, the product display ads, even if it costs them more to acquire a customer, because they want to keep getting through that inventory so that when they have, their Q4 inventory planning, they can predict accurately for that, and they don't have a bunch of older units sitting there as well. So I typically see that going up. I wanted to get Don's opinion on that as well. I typically see cost per click, and therefore usually ACOS, go up in July, August, September as well. And then again in Q4, just because there's more traffic.
Don.
Oh.
Wake up.
I never knew that an iPad can overheat. My iPad actually overheated. It stopped. Just an emergency. This big question exclamation mark came up in red. I've never seen that in my life.
Because it's so hot in that dark.
Yeah, it's crazy. As far as that goes, our ACOS has gone up a bit. I mean, to be honest, I don't really follow ACOS as much. I mean, obviously I do a lot of pay-per-click and I'm into it, but I mostly work on how much I need to spend for that day. To be honest with you, across all my brands, even the Open brand probably the most, we're actually a lot higher. Like Open brand is, like last year was, we would fight to get to 80. Now we're doing 140, 150 a day now. It's crazy. I don't know what's going on, but I'm happy as heck. Ever since Prime Day, to tell you the truth, that's kind of helped. So maybe because I have more stock in there. Every year you add more ASINs, that helps, right? If you're relying on one product or two, it's going to be slow. Once you get to 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and keep going, I can keep going forever there on that number. You're going to see increase each year because next year you're going to have an extra 5 products. The year after you're going to have another 3, 4. So I think that's one way to combat that, the slow summers, is by adding more products. And especially if you're in an open brand like we are, we can add summer products to bring up our revenue this summer. Just like we can add Christmas gifts. Right. We can add in, back to school stuff. So So that's the main reason we opened the Open brand, is because now, our back to school stuff is going to start selling. And then of course our Christmas stuff. And every month we've got something covered as long as we keep releasing new products.
Yeah.
But yeah, ACOS for sure. It's gone up a little bit. I've talked to a few people that I coach. Same thing. They're like, man, I'm not selling this, but my ACOS is crazy. It used to be like 30, 40%. Now it's 60, 70. It's because people aren't seeing the sales. So they're upping their PPC budget is what's happening. And they're like, okay, well, maybe I'll grab some ice. And what happens is you are going to spend more money. But I'm a big, believer that later on it's going to pay off at fourth quarter for sure if you put that money into it.
Cool. One thing I wanted to mention here really quickly, I think someone asked a question about what's another launch strategy outside of just pay-per-click. And we've talked about it. Struggling to get new products off the ground, any good launch strategies outside of pay-per-click. Yeah, we talked about it. It's about building the list and then taking the list and then pushing to the product. Like that's worked fantastic for us. And part of the reason why we
and negatively.
Yeah, I mean we've ran out of stock because of that. Our good friends and students, the Armstrongs, they recently just did the exact same thing. We actually went in North Carolina. We broke down what they were doing. We then told them to double down on exactly what they were doing, just do more of it. They did that. They found a good influencer. They built their email list, I think 3 times what it was. And they've sold out of inventory now. So now they're at a problem where how do I get more inventory? Now what am I going to do, right? So the biggest thing for me, for people out there, especially if you have, Keith just chimed in. He goes twice now in less than 30 days. Yeah. And here you guys were talking. I'm talking to Keith and Melissa now. You guys were saying like, yeah, I don't know how we can, get the sales to stay consistent, and I don't know how we can get more of just one spike and this, that, and the other thing. Now you're at the other end of the spectrum where we would be sitting down going like, I don't know how to keep in the inventory. How do I know how to plan for this? So now there's another struggle. It's not a struggle. Like once you get inventory, you pretty much know that you can repeat that process. And then your ranking is going to become better and all of that stuff. So once you kind of get the rhythm and start to get that momentum with that, I'm telling you right now, like that's a game changer. I do want to announce this though, Chris, because I didn't announce this before, but you and I did a free workshop all about building your own list, right? And that is theamazingseller.com/build list. This week I did an episode, I think it was on Monday, where I covered 3 offers that you can use to build your email list. Wednesday I did an episode with Rick Mulready for Facebook ads, showing you now that you've got an offer, now we got to figure out how to drive traffic to the offer. Well, he's a Facebook ads expert. He's agreed to do a workshop with us next Tuesday at 1 p.m. Eastern time. So, Chris, if you want to throw that link up for people, theamazingseller.com/FB training, we're going to be doing that there. He's going to basically go through deeper than what we did on the podcast. Now, he does have additional training if you guys wanted to, jump into one of his classes, but he's going to teach for 60 to 90 minutes and answer any questions you have. I believe you can learn through just attending the workshop, okay? And then you can go ahead and set up your first ads. And he's a big believer in starting out with a $10 a day budget, something small, and then starting to refine it and starting to dial it in, and then you can scale it up. But that's what Chris and I have done. We've used Facebook ads primarily. The Instagram stuff we did with the little case study that we did, but we're primarily using Facebook ads now and everything to drive it through to build that email list. All right, and then from retargeting and pixeling and all that stuff that kind of gets confusing, Rick is brilliant at that. And everything that I've actually learned through Facebook ads is through Rick. So I would definitely recommend going to that workshop. Here's a little shameless plug for the workshop. Go attend it. It's free, and go listen to the podcast. Go listen to Monday and Wednesday's episode. Offers is going to get the attention. Without a good offer, you can't get emails. With a good offer, you'll get emails, and then with the emails, then you can push sales. So I think that's your strategy. People want like a silver bullet, but I'm telling you, over time, it's so powerful.
Another thing on that, Scott, you and I went to Rick's live event. Was that in November?
Yeah, I believe that was in November. And by the way, I paid $1,500 to attend that. by the way. He didn't give me a free ride. I paid $1,500 to be there.
I've been running Facebook ads since 2011, I want to say, like real soon after they came out. And I learned stuff from that, right? Like the guy has a way of breaking it down so that it's stupid, simple, and easy. And if you guys have any desire to run Facebook ads, and you should, it's worth taking the time to attend, right? Yep. And Rick is absolutely the guy to break that stuff down for you, and I think it's going to be well worth your time. I don't know. Do you know if he's going to have a replay, Scott?
Yeah, I believe he will. He will. Do
At the very least, I would go sign up, and that way you can be sure to grab it the next time he does one, even if you can't make the one on Tuesday. There was a couple other things Brett wanted to know. I noticed that Amazon adds fees for shipping to Amazon logistics, but what about storage costs? Storage costs are billed separately from your payout, so you have to look in your inventory report and those kinds of things to see all the storage fees. And I think there's actually a separate report in there. And Dom, if you know the name of it, you may be able to correct me if I'm wrong, but is there a separate report for just storage fees?
You know what, to tell you the truth, I couldn't even tell you. That's horrible. I have no idea, to tell you the truth. I don't even handle that part of our accountant. They basically handle all that stuff. I'm lost for first time ever. I'm sorry, man.
Dom is lost for words.
I know what my PPC is every day. I can tell you that.
Hey, Chris. Tony wanted to know too. Where do you get that report to see lost sales from inventory being out?
Well, so before I answer that, there should be, if you go to your inventory dashboard, that would be the first place that I would look. You should be able to start to see some fees inside of that dashboard. The report that I was looking at, what report was I looking at?
I don't know. You dug around and you found it, so maybe you could find it again.
Maybe if Jason's on with us, he can tell us the name. It's the inventory in stock report, I believe.
Okay.
And if you go to reports, business reports, it's then inventory in stock. It's also known, it's in like the selling coach reports. You can find it there as well if you guys know where that is. But it'll tell you, you know, your percentage in stock over time. And over the last 30 days, that product that we lost 25% on, Scott, has only, or 25,000 on, has only been in stock 58% of the time. Because we were out of stock twice in the last 30 days, leading to 25,000 in lost sales just on that product. So that's, you know, that's a report that I like to kind of keep an eye on, but also don't really ever want to look at.
Depressing.
Super depressing, yeah.
Right, exactly. And so if you ever run into a place where you do run out of stock and you want to project out what you actually lost, it's worth taking a look at. And I know
I never look at it.
It's worth taking a look at every time you run out of stock just to see what the lost money is, especially in the fourth quarter. And I know Jason, our buddy Jason, can attest to that because he showed us his inventory in stock report for December of last year, and that gave me a heart attack. In terms of lost revenue, so it's not too bad.
Crazy. Tony says, wasn't it close to like 800 grand?
I believe so. It was north of $500,000.
Hey Dom, ask that guy next to you if he knows FBA.
Hey, sir, hold on, sir.
Go ahead.
Tony was able to find that report. She said, because she's been out of stock for a few days now, she said she lost 12,000, almost just $2 shy of 13,000, 12,998 in sales just in the last few days, and that can add up really, really fast.
Yeah.
And so that to me says, okay, if I had to order more next time, how much would it cost me? Right? If you paid $5,000, even if you overbought, Scott, you were paying $5 a unit and you ordered 1,000 extra units.
Yeah.
You still made more than you lost. Yeah. Right? In terms of lost sales. So it might be worth it to bump that next order up.
Yeah.
Somebody says it's really helpful to hear about inventory strategies today, though. Thanks, guys. This is probably the least sexy thing that we can. Inventory storage fees was sexier than inventory planning strategies. True. But it's one of those things where there's a couple big places in people's businesses where they get caught and tend to either give up, get frustrated, or just not have cash flow issues, right? And that's something we knew in this new brand, Scott, that we were going to have times where we were going to have products that we're going to take off. And we said, if we have to bankroll it, we're willing to do that. We're willing to put more money in as long as we're seeing money come back out, right? And if we wouldn't have had that bankroll, it wouldn't have been very easy to say, okay, well, let's order an extra 1,500. Let's order an extra 3,000. And that's when having that inventory planning in advance, knowing your lost numbers, and knowing whether or not it's worth ordering an extra 1,500 units on the chance that you jump to 40 or 50 a day in Q4, rather than ordering a totally different product. That's how you know if it's worth it or not. So it's really, really important to businesses. And it's a lot of times where businesses get caught up and run into cash shortages. I know you're a fan of the profit, and you see that there all the time. He says, well, why aren't you selling more of this product? We can't keep it in stock. Okay. Well, you have these other 30 products that you're selling. Why are you selling those? Focus on this thing. Put all the cash in the business into that and go.
And that's a great point, because I was actually having this conversation with our partner, and there's a couple of SKUs that we're thinking about maybe not even carrying anymore, because they're just they're not performing as well as we'd like. And we feel like it's going to be a harder road. More people are going to come in and saturate that area. So we may just back out of those and then just double down on the ones that we have, and then also release new products. Like, so, we have, I forget now, Chris, what is it? Like, if you count the 2 new SKUs coming in, I think we got like 9 SKUs, right? But
I think it's 9 or 10, yeah.
But
we launched 3 this week.
But there's one that I know we only have about maybe 75 left in stock. We might sell 1 a day, maybe 2 sometimes, but it's not even really worth it for us to do that, because it's going to get even more saturated. So we're just thinking about letting that run out, and then taking the money that we would invest in that inventory that's going to take us a lot longer to get recoup our money, to just put it back into either another product or into a product that's currently already selling.
Everyone says, I'm out of stock with my bundle. I've lost $76. Everyone, how long have you been out of stock on that bundle? If that's just today, that adds up real fast. If that's been over the last 30 days, then it's not something to worry about too badly. So it's 8 products. It's 12 SKUs.
Okay.
Technically, I guess it would be 6 products and 12 SKUs, but we have 3 of them set up as different products rather than parent-child, so I'm counting them as different products. So it's 12 total SKUs of things that we've been selling.
Okay.
So it adds up, right? I mean, and if you don't have to reorder, even if it's a lower cost product, and the one I think you're talking about is one of our lowest in terms of cost of goods, that extra $1,000, $2,000, well, we can turn around and put that into 200 units of a $5 product that we know is going to sell. So is it worth it to get those extra 200 units, or is it worth it to reorder 1,000 of the thing that costs us $1?
Exactly.
That's a decision we have to make, especially as we roll into the 4th quarter.
Yep. Any other quick questions, Chris?
I think that about wraps it up. Everyone wanted us to know that he's been out of stock a week or so. So everyone, that's not terrible at this point. Keep an eye on that number and see if that starts to drift up. Also, let us know when you get back in stock and what happens, because that's kind of the second half of that equation is, okay, now I'm out of stock. We lost $25,000. Tony lost $13,000. What do we do when we get back in stock? And the answer is you turn it on and see what happens, and then figure it out from there, right?
Yeah.
The last 2 times that we stocked in on the product that we just cannot for the life of us keep in stock, it went right away, so we didn't really have to do anything. This time might be different. We're going to be out of stock for 3 weeks.
Yeah, I'm assuming we're going to probably have to turn on pay-per-click, but we'll
have to turn on pay-per-click, and we'll
probably do a giveaway, or not a giveaway, but a discount. We'll probably give like maybe a 25% discount to our list, and we'll get things ramped up.
Well, and that's something, and if you guys were on with us last week, you heard us talking about kind of what we did, because we had control over the promotion that went wild, right? It wasn't even a promotion. The product was at full price.
Full price, yeah.
We got our link shared by an influencer, but we actually had control over the link, and so we were able to point that away from the Amazon sales page and to a page that we controlled where we captured emails. So, Scott, we have 100 people on day 1 that have raised their hands and said, I want this product the second that it's in stock. Even if we only get 10 of those people to buy, that's 10 sales out of the gate as soon as we send that email. It's a good place to start the day. If you stock back in and kind of grease those wheels, Amazon goes, oh yeah, I remember this product. This sold really well. Let's rank it again, right? And then you're kind of off to the races. So even if it's a small boost like that, it can go a long way to getting you off to where you were before. Keith says, our listing shows that it will be in stock the middle of next week and is still selling at a higher rate than previous months. That's exactly what happened to us, Keith.
Yeah.
We went in, was it 220, I think?
Yeah.
220 or 240 of the product that we ran out of stock on last Thursday or last Friday.
Yeah.
And none of them ever hit the warehouse. The velocity of that product was so big that Amazon allowed people to basically pre-order it. It said it would be in stock. I think it was August 4th. It would have been in stock today.
Yep.
Because we sent it in last Thursday, and it's never actually been anywhere other than inbound or reserved because Amazon sold through it before it actually hit the warehouse. So no units ever actually landed and got like put on a shelf. They got checked in and checked right back out. So I hope that happens to you guys as long as you can keep your feet under you and keep shipping those boxes in now that you're back from your vacation.
Yeah. All right.
Shelter here. Too much positive.
Too much positive.
We got to talk about some stuff that doesn't sell.
Well, I just did. There's a couple of SKUs that are probably going to be phasing out. You know what I mean? So, you know, I mean, but don't let that fool you though, Dom. I mean, we had a lot of. I mean, the one product that is selling out. Part of the problem we had was Amazon screwed it up, and they split our listing into 3 different listings, and we couldn't even sell it. Yeah. And so that was a nightmare for like a week. And then we get back in stock, and then we start selling, but we still have 3 different listings. So I don't know. It was weird.
They were rotating our own product through the buy box. It was fantastic.
After we pretty well go through everything once at least, so I know exactly what you're going through. Yeah, but I want to say something like for the Open brand. We talked to you because everything's been so hectic. I did Phantom of was a really good day the other day. One of our influence YouTube person got a hold of us. We've been trying to work with them for a year. Yesterday, they finally emailed us and said, they would do it for them. They have over 1 million followers, and they get 1 to 2 million downloads a day on their videos. Like by the time they're done, it's I mean, ecstatic. When she got the letter back from them, I almost screamed. I'm like, okay, because we've been trying for a year. So now they're going to come back to us and ask us for compensation, right? They said, let me talk over my team, see what it is. But I said, just pay whatever it is. I don't care what they want. So and that's Christmas time. So that's why I'm ordering lots, because I know.
Are we offering? Because you and I haven't talked. Are you offering a discount?
No, I'm just hoping that about it, feature it. The people are just going to go to Amazon. That's what I got to talk to you guys about. Do I do a landing page to get people's email?
And that was my only thing. If you offered an incentive, even 10%, they'd have to go there and enter their name and email address, and then they get 10%, and then we get an email.
Yeah, we'll do that then. Well, I'll talk to you about it, but I'm really excited. I mean, I don't know what it'll translate to, but when you have that many followers, they're like number 2 in their category. Like the number 1 is. But the funny thing is, how many people I didn't followers like that many people. I thought maybe they had 50,000 or 60,000.
That's crazy. Yeah, so we'll definitely have to talk about that, because we'll have to get something set up and see, and then we can kind of report back to and let people know what happened. But yeah, if anyone is listening and they're thinking about using influencers or reaching out to influencers, that's great. But if you can, just like we just kind of talked here and openly about it, there's 2 things you want to do. Number 1, you want to have a landing page or an email capture page that says, yes, we're offering this product at a discount for you at 10% or whatever. Just enter your name and email address to basically get your discount code. And then they get their discount code. And on the other side of that, you absolutely must use a pretty link or a link that you can redirect if you run out of inventory. And that's exactly what happened to us. And because we had that pretty link set up, which a pretty link is basically just a redirect link that you give them, and we can switch out where it's going. I mean, heck, Dom, you could buy a link, or we can buy a link for that particular one, just that one offer from GoDaddy, pay $10, and then we can redirect that to another page whenever we run out of stock or whatever, right? It could be like garlicpressspecial.com. That could be your domain name. And then from there, we could redirect that if you don't want to use a pretty link. We use pretty link. So it would be like, like theamazingseller.com/FB training. That's a pretty link. That link is being directed to a workshop. Now I can change that link to another workshop later if I want to, or the replay, but that's how that works. So anyone that doesn't know what that means, that's what that means. And you definitely want to make sure that you do that part.
Yeah, we'll have to. You know me. I don't know anything about that.
Yep. Yeah. So
I just thought that
definitely we'll get that set up.
Contacted, all these apps and all this stuff. Sometimes it's just go old-fashioned contact. Hey, are you interested? dial, old school, knock on the door, interested in this product. That's basically what we did. And I mean, it took a while because I'm sure they had tons of, but they liked the product because, you know, they said, yeah, that's perfect for what we want. And yeah, I'm sure. So we'll figure it out.
Awesome. That's good news.
As long as they don't come back and say they want 10 G's or something.
Yeah, right. That'll be interesting. That'd definitely be interesting.
Yeah. So.
All right, Chris, what do you got? You want to wrap up here?
That's it. Keith said that's exactly the problem that they ran into, Scott. They're sending in inventory. Amazon's selling through it before it even gets there. That is a fantastic problem to have, and I'm glad you guys – well, I'm sad that you can't keep it in stock, but I'm glad that you're making that number of sales. Glenn Roy just said, I built my first email list of 2,000, which is fantastic.
Ooh, that's awesome.
Should I offer 50% off when announcing the winner? The answer is you can offer whatever percentage off you want. We have not offered anything more than 50%, and we've always had good uptake on that. My suggestion would be, obviously, the higher percentage off, the more people you're going to have take it. But I would try to keep it profitable or break even. So figure out, you know, what percentage off, whether it's 30, 40, 50% off. Take your profit margin and try to plan it out at break even, keeping in mind that your Amazon fees will come down a little bit. You'll probably make $1 or $2, and that way you don't lose any money on that promotion.
Yep. And here's a little pro tip for anyone that is thinking about doing that. A mistake that people are making is they are just sending out the one email and saying like, hey guys, Sue Allen won. Congratulations, Sue. And, you know, you guys that signed in or, you know, that signed up, you know, we just want to give you guys something pretty cool for doing this. Here's your discount. You know, you get a discount for 50% off, right? That's cool. But here's the catch. And here's where it'll take your uptake to the next level. You send them out that same thing and you give them a discount, but you also give them a deadline. This is going to expire in 2 days. Here's the discount code. It will expire. Go ahead and use it. Thanks so much. You guys are awesome. And then the next day, you send them another one. Just want to make sure that you got my email yesterday. You guys are awesome. Sue Allen is the winner. Yay, yay, yay. Here's the discount code link again. Boom. And then the last day is final call. It's going to expire tonight at midnight or today at 10 o'clock or 1 o'clock, whenever it's going to expire. Just wanted to give you a little courtesy email here for you. And we'll be following up with you guys with some cool content and whatever in the future. 3 emails, okay? It's all it's going to take, and they don't have to be this, you know, this really intricate, you know, like funnel system. And Keith just says deadline is key in the reminders. That
little tweak is going to make a big difference.
Oh my gosh.
It does a few things. Scott, when we talk about emails, like the number one thing that I get is what do I send? Right. And my kind of running joke with that, it doesn't send anything. It doesn't send something. And then number 2 is like, I don't want to email people too much. Right. So what you're doing in that first email is you're giving you can eliminate that concern because you're giving yourself permission to email them again. Right. Not everybody's going to see it. 20, 30, 40% of your list. In the Armstrong's case, they have like a 50 to 60% open rate. So more of their people are going to see it than most other people. But let's say 30% of your list see it. When you give yourself permission to send that again, you're not sending them something different. You're not infringing on anybody's day because you told them that it was going to expire. So not only are you triggering that behavior in their head to say, if I want this, I really need to go check it out, but you're giving yourself permission and they're giving you permission by staying on your email list to let them email you again. And yeah, if you send 30 emails in those 3 days, it can get annoying. But if you send 3, that's more than enough. You're going to pick up a huge extra number of people from those last 2 emails. And what you'll notice is you'll get kind of a big spike in the beginning. You'll get a little baby spike day 2 when you send out that email. And then when you send that final email and say, hey guys, we're closing in 2 hours, you'll get a whole bunch of people who didn't open email 1 or 2, or maybe they did and they just didn't buy that product. And that third email actually, in a lot of cases, is going to result in as many, if not more, sales than the first one does.
Yep, 100%. Cool. So that's your ending pro tip. If you don't have an email list, build it. theamazingseller.com/build list. Facebook ads training coming up, theamazingseller.com/FB training. So we got you covered there. There's 2 episodes this week that go through offers and Facebook ads. And then from there, you just got to go out there and you got to message the list. You got to actually communicate with the list. And a key here is 3 emails for that particular discount and that offer. And I'm telling you, you will see a huge spike. So that's it, Chris. That's all I got. Dom, is there anything else you want to wrap up with? I can read his lips, and he's saying, no, I think that's it. I got everything good. All right, you pop back on laughing, so that's good.
Yeah. No, I was going to say, everyone at 1K, I give a shout-out to everyone there. Let's keep it up. I know guys are pushing through, pumping product on there. The fourth quarter is going to be here pretty fast, so let's get more product out there, guys. It's a
great point, too. If you are just starting and you wanted to get into the game, now would be the time, or in the definitely the near future, because especially in RA, retail arbitrage, and that's what 1K Fast Track is based off of, you can still get a lot of product shipped in for fourth quarter and have a good day. I know our good friend, one of your Canadian buddies that was in our first class.
Yeah, Gasson.
Gasson. No, not Gasson.
Oh, man.
Come on, why? I thought you would.
Syed.
Yes. So Syed had a $20,000 month in fourth quarter last year. So guys,
and that was his first whack at it.
Yeah, that was his first whack, and it was basically because it was fourth quarter. But anyway, I'm just going to end on that. It's definitely a great opportunity. 1kfasttrack.com. If you guys are stuck, if you're not sure if how to get started or just to dip your toe in the water, that is a great program, and it's so affordable, and you're getting Dom. And all of his knowledge and everything. We've really structured it this way so we give you the best resources and also guiding you through so it's actionable. Everything there is actionable, period. Even in the first 7 days, like our goal in the first 7 days is to get your investment back ×2, if not more. So anyway, just wanted to kind of throw that out there. I'm excited. I'm excited for 1K Fast Track. I'm excited for fourth quarter. I'm excited for everyone that is that's out there hustling and kind of putting the work in, because I'm telling you, the only time you're going to fail is if you give up and if you stop. It's like anything. You can't win the race if you stop, right? So you just have to keep at it, and you got to keep learning through that process. We're all learning. We're all kind of in this thing together. We're just at different stages. So Chris, why don't you got anything you want to wrap up with? Or are we good?
I'm good to go, brother.
All right, let's do it. So guys, have an awesome, amazing weekend, and we'll see you guys back here next week. Same place, same time. Bring your questions if you have any. Invite some friends. Let people know that you think would get value from this. Invite them. Have them come on over. We'd love to meet them. All right, so that's all I got, Chris. So guys, take care, and as always, take action. We'll see you. Get it in.